Recording in progress. All right, Parker White, tell people who you are, a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go from there.
My name is Parker White. I'm 30 years old, from Vermont, and currently sitting in a room in New Denver, BC.
Sick. So new project just came out. It's already at like 90,000 views or some shit like that on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Nothing new is just dropped. So tell me a little bit about what that project was like, and why you guys are continuing this like Nothing franchise. Because it's like, I think it's rad as fuck, but it's turned into like this whole thing. There's merch to go with it. It's like, it seems like there's multiple different films like, so what's the thought process, and what was that whole process like?
Yeah, so like we started with just nothing, and that was started with nothing. Now we're here. We started with nothing, which was just really specifically organized into 3 parts, just to show like ski, snowboard, pow surf, which is just, the 3 things that we primarily do.
Yeah.
And then that just, we didn't really have any intention in the beginning necessarily. We're just going to kind of do it and figure it out. But that one like went so well that, I don't know, I was kind of having the conversation with Friedel and everybody was on board, and we were like, yeah, we should keep doing this. And I felt like there was a lot of hype around the first one. And we had like unfinished, we had kind of an unfinished season the first year. So there was like still things we wanted to do the second year that we weren't able to the first, with like our season being cut short and stuff. So it kind of made sense to like tie up some loose ends and do a second year.
Yeah. So what's different this time around? It is definitely, I feel like it's a little less sectioned off this year than it was in the first one. Like it's very like, you kind of go back and forth, I think, between pow surf and snowboarding, and there's other people involved in it now too. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that the first year we had like the segments and everything really specifically organized before we'd even filmed it.
Okay.
So it was really, cut and dry. Like, this is skiing, this is pow surfing. We really laid it out in sections to be really obvious. Where this last year it was like, we were just going to essentially take the ethos from the first and just apply it to like a full season of skiing and snowboarding. So we're just filming with like way more people. We had way more footage in general.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's in the name, nothing new, but we didn't want to make like the exact same movie. And it wasn't even an option to, because everything that we'd filmed and the footage was so different. So it was like, how do we, carry on the ethos of nothing, but without just trying to recreate the exact same movie?
Yeah, no, and I feel like,
whoops,
here, iPad 7.
Oh Jesus, hold on.
Oh no,
there we go.
Okay.
I got it, sorry.
Yeah, dude, there's some fucking bangers in that thing too. Like, I mean, that front flip over that road gap is one of the most ridiculous things I've seen in a while, and it's just so like. Does that stuff even make you nervous? Like, do you think about that stuff before you do it and are like, fuck, like, all right, I'm tight right now? Like,
no, the only one I get nervous a couple times a year. I think the closing 7 made me a little nervous, to be honest. And that shot actually too, I did a 7 one day, and we just got the side angle.
Yeah.
And we're watching it, and it was like that night, and we're like, man, you can't really see how big that hit actually is.
Yeah.
It's like we almost need that shot from the bottom, but we only had one filmer. So that clip, that 7, I went back the next day and had to do it again. And I actually did it bigger, and the snow was like way more set up the second day, right?
Yeah.
that one had me a little puckered, especially because I had to go back and actually think about it instead of just going up there and feeling it and doing it. I was like, oh, God damn it, I got to go get a bottom angle. But yeah, that one had me a little puckered. The road gap is funny because it's like, it's a sizable hit, but it's pretty mellow, I think. It looks crazier than it hits. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I think road gaps in general look insane. Anytime you put something in between you know, like where you're taking off and landing. I feel like it looks much more crazy, especially like with the tip grab floating over it. Like it just looks smooth as fuck. And then that 7 is obviously a great ender as well.
Yeah.
What,
yeah, thanks.
when you get nervous, is that like a sign for you to stop, or is that a sign for you to like, okay, like I really need to dial in right here? Because some people, I feel like when they get nervous, they also get excited at the same time. Some people get nervous and they're like, all right, this is a sign that I shouldn't do shit. So when you're thinking about that stuff, does that, I don't know, are you
I
like
don't
thinking this ahead?
I don't get overly nervous. Getting nervous is just part of skiing in general. I get hyped when I get nervous because I'm like, I don't know. I do that.
Oh, you're frozen. Oh, good. We're back. All right.
Okay, word. Sorry, I think cut out there. I might have some sketchy service,
That's okay.
but yeah, I think like I never I don't ever do something that like I can't visualize landing or that I don't see working, right? I don't get nervous to something where I'm like, oh well, we'll see how this goes, you know. I guess we'll just drop in and figure it out. It's like I get nervous where there's the little thing in the back of my head where it's like, okay, this is pretty big or whatever, but that's just part of skiing, and that shit gets me kind of hyped. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there something that you wanted to put into this film that didn't make the cut? Like, is there something snowboard wise, pow surf wise, ski wise that you were thinking about adding in that just didn't make the final cut?
Definitely, dude. There was tons of stuff that didn't make the final cut because, like I said, we actually had so much more footage than the year before, and it's actually the film itself, I think, is 4 seconds shorter. It's
Yeah.
like the exact same length. So it was more rapid fire. It was more just like start to finish. There's no breaks
Yeah.
in the whole film, you know. So I had filmed like quite a bit of snowboard shit, but we also filmed a full snowboard segment with like actual professional snowboarders. You know, so it was like, we putting like my nose butter 3 in there, and there was a lot of things that there just wasn't room for. But it's like I think that goes with any movie, especially on a good year. It's like I would rather be in that position than having to milk things out or put extra shots in, you know.
Yeah. How do you decide like what's the ideal length for a film like this? Like you guys basically ended up at 12 minutes, I think, for both of that. Like what's like how do you decide whether it's going to be 12, 20, 30? Like why that?
For us, I think 12 is the magic number.
Yeah.
People don't want to watch more than 12 minutes of skiing a lot of the time. And I've had people hit me up and be like, oh, I wish it was longer. And
Yeah.
same thing. I'm like, okay, that's the best compliment. Because the worst thing someone could say is, oh, I wish that was shorter. You're like, ah, shit, sorry. Sorry to take up your day, you know?
Yeah.
So it's better quicker. I think you just get people's attention, and you know, attention spans are short, so you just play to that.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things I think that keeps you so involved too is not just the skiing and riding, it's the soundtrack too. The soundtrack is so fire the whole time throughout that 12 minutes that you're just like, you feel like, I actually remember being like, I was super stoned the first time I watched it. I put it up on the screen and I'm just like, this is exactly what a ski movie should have for audio in it, because it's not distracting from you and what you're doing at all, but it's like you feel everything that you guys are doing. So props to whoever picked that shit up.
High praise. Yeah, that was almost entirely Friedel.
Yeah.
This year I had like the credits song, and we kind of mutually decided on the closer song of me and Wayne sharing the ski snowboard part.
Yeah.
But no, that was kind of like the original Nothing, I'd say, was more my influence on soundtrack, and then this year was like all Friedel pretty much.
Sick. Why don't you wear a helmet? Can I ask that? Like, what's the story behind not, like, I know for some people it makes them more comfortable. They're just more confident when they're not wearing one. And honestly, sometimes I'm doing nothing at all. And for me, it's still more comfortable to just like wear a beanie and go shred. Like I feel more relaxed. But
Yeah.
why don't you wear? I mean, you're fucking hitting huge shit, and you're like just out there like rocking a beanie.
Yeah, I know. It's become a bit controversial, actually. I have never even thought about it, but I've had people hit me up, and they're actually legitimately upset. I just haven't ever worn a helmet, so I've just never even thought of wearing one. It's not like a conscious decision.
Yeah.
But like this year we were gonna go to Valdez this year, actually, and it got canceled because there was like a big wind event up there, yada yada. But before that, I actually got a helmet. Shout out to POC because they sent me a helmet. And because I was like, we're gonna be skiing big lines, and I might just feel more comfortable having one on and in some kind of unfamiliar territory.
Yeah.
And then I put it on when I got it, and it felt super odd.
Yeah.
I think it's something that I could maybe get used to, but at the same time, I'm also sort of a like don't fix it if it ain't broke. So it's kind of like I think that you should go out there and do whatever's most comfortable to you. So if other people, I'm not, preaching don't wear a helmet. If other people want to wear a helmet, absolutely wear one. But for me, I don't know. I've never really worn one my whole life, so I don't. It's just not really a thought.
Yeah, I don't even know why I noticed. I think it's just like I had watched it a couple times and I was like, all right, like he's actually not wearing a helmet and that seems terrifying. Like you see it in one clip. I think it actually was the clip where you're like, you had to be wearing a shit ton of hair gel or something like that when you're doing that, like on the big long snowboard initially when you like got your hair out and like
Oh yeah,
slick back. I was like,
no,
oh,
no hair gel, all au natural.
what was you just like? It's just water.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I
It
probably
looked
crashed.
so slick back. I was like, it's got to be hair gel. He's got to be like putting on a look right now.
Well, that was the other thing too that was funny about the movie that I don't think a lot of people even noticed is the intro to the ski segment of me like spraying the sunscreen in the hair.
Yeah,
Like that isn't me.
that's not you.
No, that's our good friend Brad Andrew, who's like 45 years old.
No,
He just takes all of our photos.
are
And
you?
yeah,
It looks just
he's
like
like
you.
he's never skied before. He's just been a snowboarder and photographer his entire life. And it just became this ongoing joke all year that he was always just like, I'm Parker White. My name is Parker White. And he would only refer to himself as Parker and refer to me as Brad. So then he dressed up like me and went skiing one day. And so that's not me at all, which I think people who don't know me well don't even pick up on. But I just thought
No,
it
I
was
didn't
really
pick up on it at all. I mean, I thought like I was like, dude, his face, his jawline looks like pretty trim. Like he's like looking like all like fucking svelte with the hair slicked back. I legit thought it was you.
No, yeah, I think a lot of people did, except for like my really close friends who were just like my mom hit me up and was like, who the fuck is that guy? It's our buddy Brad.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, so can I ask you how it goes when you're pitching? And I probably asked you this last year as well. When you're pitching something like this to your sponsors, like for this year, 686 and Rosignol, how do you offer up a project like this? And how do you say like, okay, like here's what we think it's going to do. Here's why we need the money. Like, here's how we like offer up this package of nothing new, right? And how do you tell them like this is a different product than what we did last year?
Yeah. Well, so it was easier the second year because the first year went so well.
Yeah.
Like if the first year flopped, then what are
Nobody's
you going off of, right?
Yeah.
So we were selling it less on it being totally different than last year as much as we were selling it on being the same, honestly.
Okay.
Even though it's not the exact same film, we were like, we're gonna take the same, ethos and idea of last year's movie and just make another. And people were stoked on that because nothing did so well. So it was a pretty easy sell. We just were like, yeah, we're gonna, more or less make another nothing. And everyone loved that. So
Yeah. Gear wise, do you have stuff like, are you very particular about the gear that you're on, or you're just like, whatever I ski on, I'll just send whatever they send me?
well, first off, I'll start by saying I have way too much gear. Especially, dude, like just coming to New Denver, I was like, well, I'm gonna be here probably for like December. So I'm like, well, I need a PAL surf, I need my split board, I need my skis, then I need all my different boots for each one of those things. And then last year I had a hard boot set up too. And then there's different boots for that as well. So it's actually becoming kind of a nuisance. um, but yeah, I'm I'm not overly particular about gear. I've been on the same skis for probably maybe 6 years now, the Black Ops 118 from Rosignol.
Yeah.
And we like helped design those. So those haven't changed. I'm particular about those. But yeah, as far as the rest goes, I kind of jump on whatever.
What do you like about that ski? I mean, that ski's been unchanged for a while now, and it's very simple looking. It doesn't look like it's anything over the top. It's not particularly stiff, but it's not a noodle. So what do you like about that ski?
Oh, that ski is the shit. We've actually never changed it. It's never been altered. So I'll have people hit me up too, and they're like, "Oh, dude, I got an OG pair of the all black Black Ops." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "That's great that you like that graphic, but it's the exact same ski." So anyone who likes the originals know that they're still the same. But yeah, it's the one of the best things about that ski is it's like really heavy.
Yeah.
People get in pissing contests for different weights and kilograms of their skis and everything. Heavy skis ski super well, especially at a place like Baker. Like they just absorb everything. They're super damp, so you can just run mach-a-billion through any crud, any chop, and you just feels like you're in a Cadillac. And it's not reinventing the wheel as some crazy shape. It's like camber underfoot, rocker tip and tail, nice and fat, so it floats and pow, and it's just got really good flex. It's just like it's the perfect ski.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very weird. Like I look at the Rosignol line and everything is very like cookie cutter, like sell to moms, dads, uncles, like carving people, like race skis. And then you have the Black Ops line, which is really like kind of its own home for like the cool shit that Rossi makes, basically.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome, but that all stemmed off of that original 118 ski, right?
Yeah, totally. So the original Black Ops is just the 118, and then we made the 98, which is for me is just like a park ski. That's what I was like hitting the quarter pipe on. And then since then they've added quite a few skis into the line. And then I think that's going to kind of change back this year, where this year it's going to be the 98, the 118, and then we're actually going to have like a 110 as well.
Okay. That's
So
cool.
like just to meet right in the middle of those two, which I've been trying to get them to make for years, and I think they're finally making. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Yeah, that should be rad. I feel like there's kind of a weird gap that they left. Like they killed Soul 7 and then like, which obviously like is not my favorite ski, and but it was a lot like they sold the shit out of that thing, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of people's favorite ski. It's not my favorite ski either, hence the reason I'm on the Black Ops, but that ski does very, very well for them.
Yeah, it was a little bizarre when they just killed it cold turkey to me. Like instead of redesigning it, making something different, they like killed it, and then they were like, "Oh, the Sender is kind of like the Sender 98 is kind of like that," and it's like it's not, it's different.
Yeah, it was. That's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, that was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So anyways, long story long, I think it's all kind of reverting back this year to it's a bit more separate from each other. Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
Okay.
On a groomer day, do you care to ski or do you care to snowboard? Does it matter to you? Do you have one preference over the other?
To be honest, where I ski doesn't even really have groomers. So
Fuck off.
Seriously, Baker has like 3 groomers or something.
Yeah.
So I think on groomer days, I'm typically skateboarding.
That's amazing. Can I ask you about some of the current things going on? So like, I mean, there's Fast Pass or Fast Tracks just got announced like a few days ago. I don't know if you saw all this, and people are it seems like people are super upset about it. It's where like
what is a fast track?
So it's $70. You can pay, I don't know. I think Baker's doing it too. But basically what it is you can go out and actually, no, I don't think it's Baker. Killington, Copper, all the Powder owned resorts Is Baker owned by Powder?
No, Baker is independently owned.
Okay, cool. So it's not Baker. I fucking forget who it is. It's somebody up in the Pacific Northwest, and I'm blanking.
Probably Stevens or something. Stevens is Vail.
No, it's not Vail. I should find out what it is and actually give the proper. But anyway, basically, Fast Tracks is this thing where you pay $70 to get like around the lift line. You know how like Disneyland has fast passes where like you can upgrade a card. So they're doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like amusement parks.
Yeah, exactly. So like people are fucking all. Apparently, you don't even know about this yet, but
yeah, this is over my head. I hadn't heard anything about it.
Dude, it's people have kind of been pretty bummed about this like fast pass thing because it's just another reason that people can go ahead and the rich people are just gonna like stand in line or not stand in line rather, and everybody else is just gonna watch them. And it's like you're adding this to a product that you already sold everybody in the fall.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, this is the first I've heard of it, but that sounds like some bullshit to me.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's kind of like been all over everywhere on the internet and like in the ski internet. But like the ski media side of things is kind of like they put out these news launches and it's all like Icon Epic Powder related, I feel like. So if you're not interested in skiing those places, then it doesn't really change anything for you.
Yeah. I have no idea, but I will say that that's kind of what a lot of these ski resorts are too. And I know people don't like to admit it and they think that their home mountain is so special and so unique, but a lot of these places are just giant money making fucking amusement parks.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, and that doesn't surprise me that people are doing that. They're probably going to make a ton of money. It doesn't mean that I agree with it necessarily, but does it come as some huge shock or something? Absolutely not. Like, look at season, day tickets. Like,
it's $200.
It's everything's crazy. Everything costs money, and there's all types of privileges and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it is. I don't like that, but also I don't got to deal with it. So, whatever.
Was it a conscious decision to pick Baker as a home hill, like because it's an independent resort, or is it just like that is where you wanted to ski and that's the terrain you like?
That's just where I wanted to ski in the terrain I like. And my girlfriend was actually has been going to school the last 2 years in Vancouver.
Okay.
So it was a way to like actually be closer to her. And then of course the borders closed and everything, and it became a huge hassle. But originally I kind of moved out there because she wanted to go to school, and I've always just loved Baker and kind of wanted to live there. So it just everything kind of lined up. But also like a bunch of the stuff we filmed last year was filmed at Stevens, which is Vail.
Yeah.
And Stevens is sick.
Yeah, I've never skied. Yeah. I've never skied there, but I heard it's great.
Stevens is awesome. Like I'll go to the Vail resorts and Powder resorts and whatever. I don't really care who owns a resort. The only thing I care about is the terrain, really.
Yeah.
Like if somewhere has good terrain, I don't give a shit who owns it. I'll go ride the terrain.
Yeah.
I do like that about Baker, that it is independently owned. I like the feel. I like that there isn't massive condos and shopping malls and everything there. That is the type of place that I'm personally really comfortable in.
Yeah.
But like I'll go ski anywhere. I don't care. I just love skiing. So
yeah. No, that's nice to hear. I mean, it's really tough right now because I think people are attaching every decision they make to like where their alignment is in terms of how they feel about skiing this place, that place. Like if they don't like Vail, they're never going to go to a Vail resort, right? Even if the terrain's good, even if it makes more sense to drive to a Vail resort, like a half an hour, like people will actually go out of their way to avoid those places. But then there's obviously thousands and thousands of other people that are like, this is home now. Like I'm going to a Vail resort because they have that pass product. Do you see a problem at all with the way that the whole pass dynamic is going? I guess it's a little concerning to me personally, but I don't know. I don't know how much of a big deal it actually is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard too, because like, I don't know if I'm the best person to weigh in on this, because for almost 10 years, I didn't even own a season's pass.
Why?
Like because I didn't ski in resorts. I just only skied backcountry.
Fair enough.
And I would just, I could go, I was living in Montana at the time. I'd maybe buy a day ticket one day. It was like $60.
Yeah.
But I think that skiing for so many people relies on having a season's pass. And for me, a lot of skiing is relied on like having a snowmobile or having skins and stuff. So,
Right.
yeah, it seems like, especially dropping in and just skiing for a day at these places seems really unattainable.
Yeah.
But I guess one other thing you have to think about is like a lot of these resorts are just getting overcrowded.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the more people that you have at these places, the less quality of a product they're selling. So there has to be some balance there. Like when people were starting to cap how many people could come to a ski resort a day, everyone was really upset about that. But that's not really a bad idea. I
No.
don't know that that should go to the highest bidder, but just in general, if a ski mountain says, you know what, we think 1,000 people a day here is preserves the snow, it gives everyone the best experience, so
Yeah.
that's what we're going to do. Like, I think that's awesome. Because yeah, you just have like a better pow day. So, and there's you see these lift lines too, they're like insane, nobody wants to stand in that. That's
No,
why people are paying $70 and getting special pass.
it's true.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of losing the plot. I almost forget what the original question was.
No, but you're right though. Like, it shouldn't they sell that pass product like with a cap on it in the spring or before the season though? That's what my issue is with these passes. Is like, you're selling an Epic Pass, right? There's no cap on how many they can sell, right? So if everybody decide, I mean, they know their target markets and obviously population base is where like
Yeah,
ski, but if you sell 1 million Epic Passes and your resort can only handle 100,000, you're fucked, right? If everybody decides
yeah,
to go on the weekend on a pow day, like how do you manage that? That's where I think the problem ends up being.
yeah, definitely. But that's what I was saying. So I didn't even know that. But I think there should be a cap on season passes. So it should be just cap on all passes. People just decide what their magic number is, and then it's like plan ahead. Here's when we're opening the website to buy your pass. Like Baker does a cool thing where Baker allows previous pass holders to buy at a time ahead of everyone else.
Okay.
But if you were a season's pass holder here last year, you get priority if you want to re-up that or not.
Yeah.
And then it opens to the general public after that for people who haven't had a pass there.
That's cool. That's nice because that's the kind of control you can get when it's a privately owned resort, right? Like you can do
Yeah,
that.
I think privately owned everything is better.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's hard to argue with like, okay, it's $700. You can go ski wherever the fuck you want if you buy a.
Yeah, but how many? I wonder how many people though too actually travel to all of those different resorts. I think a lot of those people, they just like the idea. They're like, I can ski in 400 different countries. You're like, well, you're just not going to leave Colorado. It's nice to know in the back of but and maybe it does take more taken advantage of than I realize. But like, I don't ski 20 different resorts or something in a year. I ski like 2,
Yeah.
maybe 3.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, I think a lot of them do travel, and especially like I'm in New England, obviously most of the time, and I feel like the main thing that people do, like when people come into the shop, they're just like, "Hey, I'm going on a trip. I need to buy some skis. Like I'm going out and I'm going to Steamboat and I'm going to Breck and I'm going to Vail, and like that's my plan." They're like going to go hit it, and like people make a point to go out there and be like doing this little trip where they hit and I probably get a few dozen in my shop a year. So
Yeah.
that's not very many, but like that's enough to be like we're adding to the local populace that's going to these resorts. So
I don't know. It kind of sounds like people just need to relax.
yeah,
that could be the solution to everybody's problem. Is everybody just needs to chill the fuck out a little bit.
honestly, that's fucking sage advice, dude. That's it's very wise advice.
Yeah. There we go. Problem solved.
Yeah. So are you guys, is this the last year of nothing? Do you guys have a plan to go do one next year? I feel like that's the worst question ever because you just finished like putting something out into the world and then everybody's like, when's another one coming?
No, it's okay. I'm on that same page too. Before I'm even done filming the first one, I'm always thinking about the next one. So we are gonna film another movie this year.
Okay.
It's going to be called Nothing More.
Sick.
Yep. And the idea is for it to just sort of complete the trilogy. So it'll be nothing, nothing new, nothing more. And then I think that's going to be it for the Nothing series.
Okay, cool.
And I think, and I don't want to shoot myself in the foot by saying that, because I'm sure in coming years, I'm going to continue to film and work on projects and do things. But I was talking about it with Friedel, and I think that 3 movies it's just a clean cutoff. We still have a couple things that we want to do, and I think that's just kind of a nice package. So,
is there anything in particular in your mind that you're like, this season I want to check this box?
definitely, the number one glaring thing in my head is going to Alaska,
Sick.
because we were supposed to go year 1 of Nothing, and then COVID shut it down. And then we rebooked for last year, and then a big windstorm shut us down. So now we have our credit going on the 3rd year to try and go to Alaska. So
Is travel still an issue for you? Like, is it still a problem, like getting around places? Like, I don't know. I think you're probably traveling more than I am at this point, right? Like, you just did a road trip, you just did the film tour. Like, I mean,
yeah,
is it harder? Is it a problem in different states? Like, is the COVID thing an issue when you're planning for this upcoming season? Like, I'm so sick of talking about it, but I want to
yeah,
know if it is, because it feels like we're kind of regressing a little bit again, where like places are starting to have mask mandates again, and like
yeah,
everything's a big
yeah.
deal, and it's fucking crazy.
It is a little bit, but less so. Like, I don't think that we're going to Japan this year again.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to go back to Japan. I really really love Japan. But like that kind of seems off the table. But in general, like getting up and back between BC is looking like it's going to be fine. And I don't know, that's between like BC and Washington, everything's pretty chill.
Yeah. Sick.
But yeah, I don't know that we're going to be doing a lot of international travel, but we kind of haven't really been doing that stuff anyways. So
Yeah, seems like everybody's kind of just made it work. Like they're dealing with it, and they're just gonna do whatever they can locally. And honestly, some really good shit has come out of like
super.
people hanging out in their local areas. Like there's a ton of good projects. So
Yeah.
And this one included. Like, I mean, this is not like COVID related in any way, really, but it's like you can promote it, you can do a YouTube premiere, and like you're starting to see a lot of other people do this more and more often, where it's like, we're going to do a premiere, we're going to do it on, like, we'll show it in theaters and stuff too, but we're going to put it out on YouTube, and that's how we're going to push this thing.
Yeah. And like the film tour that I did was crazy.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I mean, that did not feel like a compromised film tour in any way, shape, or form. Those parties were people came out for that. So that was awesome. That was cool to see too, because like, yeah, it's just nice to go back to normal and see people out and about, and just getting everybody together. That was awesome.
Yeah. Do you like, so this is my last question, I think, and then I'm gonna let you get out of here. But you're starting to see a lot more of these YouTube premieres, and it's actually becoming prevalent where people are like really watching this shit. Like, I mean, you guys are at 90,000 views, and it's been like a few weeks that this thing has been out on YouTube. Like it's insane for a ski movie, I feel like. And Wallace just told me a couple days ago that they're doing the Good Company premiere is the 25th, and they're doing the same kind of thing that you guys did, where it's like he's going to be there like on the 25th, and he'll be answering like fan questions. He's going to talk to everybody involved in the movie. They're going to have like a launch party basically on YouTube. Do you like that kind of thing? Do you see yourself doing more of those kind of like YouTube style premieres?
YouTube premieres?
Yeah.
Yeah, the YouTube premiere is cool because like anybody can tune into it.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think that it's as good as an in-person premiere.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's not the same experience. I was having this conversation with Friedel though too. It was kind of funny. Is like the original Nothing, I don't know if it would have succeeded as much as an in-person premiere as it did on YouTube. There are certain films that premiere better than other films. It doesn't mean that they're a better or worse film. In fact, some of my favorite movies back in the day, like Idea.
Yeah.
That's not something that might not be a movie that people are going crazy for at a premiere, but it's so good. So like it's more intimate to put headphones on and really watch something and study it
Yeah.
and feel it. But there's just something to be said for like just that old school massive party of getting everybody together, getting everybody stoked and showing all the biggest, craziest shit and having everybody go crazy for it.
Yeah.
It's funny, like they'll be at a premiere, you get to actually hear and see all the reactions of everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, it won't be my favorite clip of the movie, but it's like whatever the biggest clip is, like the most death defying thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, yeah. There's the certain tricks. Like Friedel and I were even joking that you could edit a film to like a totally different film for the premiere.
Yeah.
That like, okay, we're gonna make just the action sports banger movie, and then you could make the actual film you release to everybody else, right? The way you want it. But it's two totally different experiences. I prefer being in person, actually meeting everyone and hanging out with them. I think that's invaluable. But yeah, the YouTube premiere has its place too. It's like it's whatever. It's its own thing.
Sick. All right, Parker, where can people find you on social? Where can people find Nothing and Nothing New online? And anything else you want to plug, feel free.
Say find Nothing New on YouTube. Just YouTube Parker White, Nothing New. Instagram is Jet Ski White. And I think that's pretty much it. Big shout out to all of my sponsors for continuing to support me and letting me make all of these movies.
Sick. Thanks, man. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. Thanks for the call, dude. I hope you have a good